Thank you for joining us here today at the Tennessee Valley Media Studio. We're in Studio 1 in the Export Studio, and we're joined here today with County Mayor David Morgan, and we're going to sit down and we're just going to have a discussion about all things Lawrence County. How's that sound?
Sounds good, man. Sounds
all right.
good.
So, you're in your fourth year, your first term.
Yep.
And everybody by now is familiar with seeing David Morgan's face. You're out and about. You're all over your ball games. You're doing your work at what you do as far as your daily job. So I want to start off by you telling everyone who David Morgan is, the husband, the dad, pastor of his church. Tell everybody who you are.
Hey, well, thank you, Corey, again for the opportunity to be here today, and Ben and the whole team here at Tennessee Valley Weather Group. But who am I? First and foremost, man, I'm a child of God. You know, gave my life to Christ at 19 years old, and He just revolutionized my life. I would have never imagined I'd be a pastor. I would never imagine I'd be a community leader or county executive, county mayor. That would have never crossed my mind. But the thing that God has in store for all of us is that His plans are to bless us and to prosper us, to give us hope in the future. You know, so that's who I am. The premise of who I am. Not perfect by any means. Don't ever want to put off that vibe either. If you're around me at the ballpark every now and then, you can tell I got a differing opinion from a referee for a time or two, but I think we all got that, don't we, Corey?
Well,
if you're competitive, it's how it is.
That just proves you're a regular guy.
That's right. But yeah, so really me being involved in government was an overflow and a natural progression, I think, of doing what I do in ministry, which is serving people. And so I don't like to say like we're the first family of Lawrence County. We're the first servants of Lawrence County, really, as a county executive. And if you really know the nuances of how the balance of power works in local government with the executive branch, legislative branch, really a county executive is a influential leadership position. There's a managerial responsibility as well, but when it comes to legislation and getting things done, I don't have a vote. So my role is purely influential with the commission. And so relationship building, all the things you learn being a pastor and being a father of 5, being married for 20 something years. My wife is my best teacher, second only to Jesus, you know. Yeah. And but that's who I am. That's what I love to do, and I really enjoyed government. Most every day we get to help make decisions that help our people, and so and ensure a bright future for our children and all that. So I love it. Yeah. And some people think I'm nuts because I do like it, but I remember when I first came in, about 6 months in, somebody was saying, "How do you like it compared to ministry?" And man, I bet it's like so much heavier and all that. And I said, well, honestly, no, it's not heaven and hell. It's not life and death. It's not families struggling through major calamity or wayward children or divorce or
right.
It's not holding the hand of somebody dying of cancer and trying to make sense out of why a 50-something-year-old got diagnosed 2 months ago and now is dying and their family's going to be without them. Yeah. That's ministry, and those are those are the things that are super hard. And so government, we get to come together, make common sense decisions that help our people. That's what I get to do every day, and it's a joy.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that, because I think a lot of people see your face, but not everybody knows who David Morgan really is. We were talking. It's funny you said that you never seen yourself in that as a pastor or in the role you're in as county executive. But we were talking about just a moment ago about how times have changed in school, and mm-hmm. We've known each other for a long time. And to think that you sitting here as a pastor and county executive, and my role as far as even being in this role or as an elected school board member, I don't think either one of us saw that in the cards 30 years ago.
We would have never thought of that. No, never crossed our mind.
Nor would anybody else. Okay, so let's get to the good stuff. Topic 1. We had a recent ice storm.
We did.
Worst ice storm, probably. To be honest with you, I don't know. You hear people talk about it comparable to 94. I was a junior in high school in 94.
I remember that one.
You were a sophomore in high school. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it was worse in 94 or worse this time, but I do want to know one thing that made a big difference. You created the Emergency Services Committee mm-hmm. and expanded support for all the services through EMS, fire, all those that's mm-hmm. encompassed mm-hmm. underneath that. Tell me how that made a difference during the week of the ice storm.
Oh wow. Well, I'll give credit to the collaboration and cooperation we have here in Lawrence County. And when I was running for office, one of the things I heard from county fire, you go to all these fish fries at these fire halls, and one of the things I heard was, they were losing members, they're kind of exhausted. They have to fundraise to be able to so they voluntarily fundraise to be able to volunteer their time to fight a fire and save our families, and pull them out of
Right.
that. So it's like people are not in this day and age. You could say it's this generation, whatever. Some people want to just do that, but I don't think it's just it's a tough thing for people to be involved in. We're so connected to so many things. So I heard all that. I heard EMS. We were understaffed. We were providing less ambulances than what the state minimum requires of us per 10,000 residents. So those are things I was highly focused on when I came in, and so that started that committee. Put 4 commissioners on the left side of the table that have backgrounds in those areas. Put 4 professionals on the right side of the table that are doing that every day with their life, and we just sat down and started making common sense decisions. How did it help us? One is our EMA director, Shelton Barnett. If you don't know Shelton, you got to meet this guy. He knows everything there is to know about emergencies and emergency service. He tells me so much stuff, and sometimes I feel like I'm letting him down because I don't understand. I don't understand everything he knows, but that's why we got Shelton.
That's right.
He had him in the EOC, and everybody was there, coordinated. And here's the thing: like now with County Fire, for instance, we have full-time firemen throughout the week in County Fire. So at the Leoma Station, at the Etheridge Station, we've never had that in history of Lawrence County. We've got guys there full-time. So instead of them having to leave their job, go to the fire hall, get an engine, come back, our guys go straight from the fire hall to the fire.
Yeah.
And so, seconds
Matter.
save lives.
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
Seconds save lives. And so I think all of that came into play throughout the ICE thing. And I would say I remember 94 because I was at Courtney and Josh Brazier's house when it happened. So I got snowed in at the Braziers. They had all the toys.
Oh,
I mean, we were
I remember.
we were having a blast for 3 or 4. Because you just live back in Richardson
Richardson
Acres.
Acres, yeah.
Because we meet at the mini farms or
That's
whatever,
right.
ride 4-wheelers.
Oh,
Yeah.
the group of us that lived in Richardson Acres, we all would head out,
Yep.
cut through
the fields, around the fields and all that, yeah.
and go back to where they
Dan
lived.
Module
Oh, we
back,
had a great
the whole
time.
crew. Yeah. Yeah.
So, just simply, the difference, the creating the committee, getting everybody together, even in just a shorter time that it's been put together, we've seen a major impact that it made just in this one particular situation.
Yeah. And and that was the thing. It's not that my predecessor and previous commissions weren't interested in helping. A lot of times, what I heard when I was on the campaign trail was, we don't know where to go or who to talk to or what. So this committee really made it like, hey, we want to focus on all things first responders, emergency services, and we're going to have regular meetings, and so they could come and they could share their ideas or grievances, whatever. So we added that 5th ambulance to Lawrence County. Now you're supposed to have 1 ambulance full time for every 10,000 people. So we have, last census was 46,000 people. We think that number's closer to 50 really, but so we have 5 ambulances. We're a little bit ahead of the game right now. And that's a big plus. We're fully staffed at EMS. Yep. Corey, one thing that I noticed when I came, I did a salary study on EMS wages, sheriff's department wages, all these things. Bro, we were behind every county around us and numerous other counties that were smaller than us, counties that were less economically robust than us. Mm-hmm. Like, for some reason, it had just been something that had kind of, and I'll say in government, you kind of click the wheel of what's most pertinent at the time or what you need to focus on, and you can't get a lot done really fast. So, 3 or 4 years goes by fast. I can't believe it's been that long.
Really fast.
And so you deal with the issues at the time that you got to deal with, and you try to be introspective, and you try to click back around, and we've done that. But that was one of the big deals. We were able to raise wages, well over 20% across the board in emergency services and county fire. We were able to give them 100% more money than what they have been receiving for all these years. So that's helped put the full-time firemen in place and various other things that they're doing. So kudos to the county commission for that. Again, I chair the budget committee. I can break a tie on that committee, but they're the ones that have to vote. That, by law, the commission's sole responsibility, by law, state law, is to pass a budget. I present a budget, and we go through the budget, and they can critique it and trim it. We can do all that, but it's their job to pass the budget. So, shout out to the county commission. They have approved all of these changes over the last several years, and it's been a big team effort.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, first term. I want to ask this question. You just talked about that, and I know there's several things. Give me the one thing that so far up to this point, as far as an accomplishment or something new that we've done that you're most proud of.
Something new. I'll start with that. So, people may not know this, but the county executive is responsible for the day-to-day operations of solid waste in our county. Now, again, county government is not, lack of a better word, it's not sexy, okay? It's
Sure.
like we handle roads, we handle, school buildings. And now schools kind of can get us, if you got new bells and whistles at schools, that's something you could, but like city government, state governments, they build parks, they build water, they do all these really cool stuff. So we handle roads, schools, emergency services, things like that are the vital functions, kind of like our heart beating and all that we don't think about. But one of the things, and garbage is one of those. So I think Tennessee, I've been all over the country in so many different states, and I think Tennessee is arguably one of the most beautiful states. And we're diverse as far as our topography and, from the west to the east. But one of the things that's gut-wrenching, heartbreaking is seeing trash on the side of the roads, and
I agree.
Just growing up here, that's just frustrating. So, and it matters. It matters in a lot of ways for economic development. It matters for farmers. They don't want trash in their crops and things like that. So, trash became something I was focused on early on, and you may remember there were some big changes that happened early on. But we have opened. So I found out as I was studying, Lawrence County, out of 95 counties, was the only county in the state that had one place to bring your garbage. So if you're in Iron City, or you're in Five Points, or you're in Hennerville, or you're West End, like you had to drive all the way in the middle of Lawrenceburg to bring your trash. So we've been able to expand that. Started with a mobile convenience truck, which goes around all these outskirts communities certain days of the week, and people can bring their garbage. And then we're building, actual convenience centers in communities. The Loretto Convenience Center has been a huge hit down there. People are excited. We've got the land procured in Summertown.
Yeah, we just voted
the
as
school
a board
board gave
member,
us land.
We just voted that on the last month.
Thank you for doing that.
To allow the county to make a convenience center, and also we're on to station.
Well, we're talking about putting a new ambulance center somewhere up that way. And
so I knew that was part of it. That not only would it be a garbage convenience center, but it would also possibly be an EMS location too.
So we're talking about that. So that's been something as far as new things I'm proud of. The second to that, and not second in any kind of hierarchy, but because it's not a new thing, but being able to give County Fire 100% more funding, to me, that's probably one of the things I'm most proud of. That 5th ambulance too. Just again, the involuntary functions. When you call 911 because you're in distress, it's a government responsibility to make sure you have someone there, and it's just part of what we do, and we've been able to do that well. So.
If I can, on a personal note, and I want to vouch personally for what you just said. In 2023, I had a little heart issue going on and whatnot, and had an accident, and I'll give you an example of how important to me. And again, this is my personal experience.
Okay.
After I'd had my initial heart incident and my hunting, because it happened when I was hunting and I fell out of a tree and kind of got broke up pretty good. But I'd gotten back home and for a few days, and about the second or third day I'm at home, I have another heart problem again. So my wife and daughter has called 911. I'm out. So I live out on Valley Road. I'm not really, I'm outside the city, but Etheridge Fire is not really too close. And here's where personally to me it matters. Before I wake back up, before I regain consciousness, Etheridge EMS is there, already got me hooked up. The ambulances get there within, for my house, nowhere close, and I was out about 7-8 minutes.
Wow.
So on a personal note,
that response time was
life
saving.
Absolutely. So
yeah.
I will stand here and say that the money that's been invested in EMS and all that you've done matters each and every day. And it makes differences in people's lives.
Thank you for saying that, because I've seen numerous testimonies like that, and I wasn't even aware of yours. But that every dollar we spend on emergency services is just critical. And we could give them even more. And I hope to be able to do more for them as time goes on. But yeah, it matters. It's life and death, my friend.
All right. So I asked the question: what were you most proud of? We went over it. If I could give you a mulligan on one thing, what would you take it on?
Mulligan, boy, I'm a novice golfer. If y'all don't know this, I'm in the presence of a legend right here. This guy hole-in-one to number 7.
That's luck.
Anyway, par 4.
Luck.
Closest I've ever been is that stake that you can't drive the cart inside.
Yeah.
I remember I took a picture. I was about 7 feet from that. Best drive I ever hit. But anyway, a mulligan. Wow, a mulligan. Well, I would say when I came in, I started 2 new committees, and one was Emergency Services Committee. One was Property Development and Codes, and there's a group of people about burned the courthouse down because they want Lawrence County to remain unrestricted, no codes, no stuff like that. And of course, I never used the word zoning, but they attached that word to what I was trying to do. And I think I might have in government and in politics, wording is everything, and so how you present something matters. And so we had a big town hall meeting. I think we all come to some pretty reasonable conclusions, and they saw my heart. I understood theirs. The motivation wasn't to turn Lawrence County into a Murray County. My God, there's really nothing Murray County does that I would ever want to copy and paste in Lawrence County. I love Sheila Budd and all that. Like I was in a meeting the other day, so they said, well, yeah, Murray County's doing it. We should go up there and study what they're doing. I said, there's really nothing Murray County's doing that I want in Lawrence County. Yeah. Well, not that I don't want to get other ideas, but anyway, so, and part of that's just being a little bit comical, but yeah, maybe that. So what do we do? So we have a challenge in our community. So the county's responsible for roads, and roads are expensive. And my whole motivation was we have people building subdivisions and things like that out in the county. And, we don't have any way to require that they build the road, the temporary road, or the road they're starting into the property, that they build it to our specifications. We can suggest, but it's going to cost the developer 3 or 4 times the money. So Are they going to spend it or not? And what we've got is, and you being on the school board, so we've got roads like that have 5, 10, 15, 20 houses down them. And the road is not even traversable for a bus anymore. There's potholes the size of VW Bugs, because the road wasn't built right. And we as a county government are expected to adopt that road, but we don't have to. The commission votes on that. And there's a lot of roads we haven't adopted because they weren't built to our spec. And it's going to cost us tons of money.
Yeah, because again, we dealt with an instance of that on the school board where we had a bus that could travel down but physically couldn't turn around and come back out. Yeah. So we had to kind of work through that or whatnot.
Just a little bit of planning goes a long way on that. And again, requiring that developer to build that road to a point where we say we would gladly take over that road when you're finished. Yeah. And we'll keep it up. We'll take care of it, and those citizens will know that Ryan Creek and his department are going to be there for them.
All right, I'm gonna skip a few topics just because we got there. We'll come back to them. But on the topic of roads, obviously from the south end of the county to the north end of the county and all in between, roads comes up. Mm-hmm. It comes up whether it's in the city or the county or whatever the case may be. If you're out eating and somebody walks up and the topic comes up, what are we going to do about our roads? Mm-hmm. Tell me what's your response?
Well, I'll say we're currently hard at it with roads, and we don't have a better road department or superintendent than Ryan Creek and his crew. I'll say we've made the largest investment this county has ever made in roads in the last 3 years. And part of that was spurred on, I'll give some credit to the state government and our representatives and stuff, our senator. part of that was spurred on because the state, out of their surplus 3 years ago, gave us 2 point some odd million dollars. I can't remember the exact number, over $2 million to help with state connecting roads. So what a lot of people don't understand and know in a community is you got city streets, which are not the county's responsibility.
Correct.
Let's make that clear. Springer Road is not Ryan Crick's responsibility. It's not.
Right.
It's Blake Lay's and all his people. So just keep it there. But I remember getting some flack over Springer Road when I came in. I'm like, y'all don't know the separation of governmental responsibility. So, all right. And then there's state highways, there's state roads as well. Mm-hmm. So there's state connecting roads, which prior to this allocation of money from the state government, we're responsible, Ryan is, and his crew and our budget for taking care of all those roads. Lawrence County is I think it's the 5th largest county in the state, land area. And we have right at 1,000 miles of county roads. I think we're in the top 5 in road mileage too, county road mileage. Like, I think every country song about back roads was probably generated right here in Lawrence County. So what are we doing? So anyway, the state kind of gave us a chunk of money, and Ryan was excited about that. And then I thought, and we got to talking among the commission, like, we need to do something for roads. I remember Denny Gillespie was a big supporter of that from down at 5 Points, and Wayne Yoakum, handful of guys, Barry Luffman, big supporter of that. And so we got to having the conversation. We said, look, we're going to do a bond issue. We gave the school system a considerable amount of money to help with some,
capital project,
loosening the belt, making some more room for y'all,
exactly right.
Classroom space and stuff. So that led to us borrowing money as well, and we get really good interest rates and all that. So we were able to put more money into county roads than we've ever been able to do as a county. So you're seeing that come to pass, and Ryan is they're excited because here we go. It's springtime on the way, and they're ready to lay it down. So,
yeah. So
anyway. That's the largest ever. That's pretty cool. So, the largest dollar amount ever invested in roads has been done in the last 3 years. So,
come warmer weather, come springtime and warmer weather, be paying attention when you're out on the road because there's a good chance there's going to be a road crew out working.
Yeah, somewhere near you, there will be guys. Yeah, for sure.
All right, so seeing some of your stuff put out, and you're great about, in my opinion, I think you do a great job of being open and communicating with the county. You report the county's stronger financially than it has been in a while. So, number one, how have you done that? And the second part of the question is, if reelected, how are you going to take our position financially, which is good, into your second term?
All right, let me answer the first part first. So, one, it's a big team effort. Again, I said earlier that the sole constitutional responsibility of county commission is to pass a budget. So they have passed my budget every time, and it's worked well. So here's one thing I got to looking at when I came in. I did a budgeted number versus the actual the audited number on what we spend. And I realized that we typically spend about 91% of what we budget. And so with a budget of $22 million when I first came in, 10% of that's $2.2 million. So let's just say 90% was number for sake of easy math. So there's $2.2 million then that you realize that you didn't allocate for savings. And in our budget, we even put money in for savings or whatnot. So anyway, so that money is flexible money. Now, throughout the year, again, a budget is not set in stone. It's something you have to pass, and then the budget can be amended throughout the year based on needs that come up or things you couldn't see or whatever.
That's right.
Because you don't want to cripple government in that way. So, but you have to be careful with that, right? You don't want to go overboard with capital projects. You want to get those in the budget if you can. So, T.R. Williams and his team, Teresa Purcell, the whole team that worked together for all those years, his 8 years, when he came in, there was a little over $1 million in our fund balance, which, Corey, it was to the point where we were a distressed county, right. Because the comptroller requires you to have 16%, at least 16% of your annual expenditures in savings.
Yes.
All right. So they didn't have that. And so TR worked hard. They actually had to raise taxes, his first budget that he passed. You inherit a budget when you come in, then you set your first budget. So they had to raise taxes, property taxes. That got us out of the hole and set us on the way to getting out of the hole. Anyway, they were able to put back over his time at 8 years. I think they had a little over $7 million in their fund balance. We're knocking on $14 million after my first term, so we've been able to almost double that.
Yeah.
So that's been big. But how we're able to do it, it's a team effort across the board. All of our department heads and everything we've got in our budget, people to be conservative on spending. You know, we inflate little areas here in the budget, and people spend a little less, and that's good. That's savings for us. Sheriff's Department's big on that. They help us in that way. But then actually turning that money over and doing something positive with it and making it happen. So, you know, it's just sound fiscal conservative policy, I think, that's really helped us get to where we are today. And, hey, $14 million may sound like a lot, but you know,
it's not.
Government. It could one major catastrophe or natural disaster, road, a flood of some sort, washing out bridges. We may get some TEMA or FEMA money a year or two from now to help reimburse expenses, but you got to have that capital over here to be able to do those kind of things. Yeah.
I mean, listen, just in the school system, again, I'm involved in the school system through my spot on the board. Dude, I could eat up $14 million in the next hour.
Yeah, and you add it up, you got it in there, and everybody knows you got it, so everybody's coming after it. Like,
sure.
Hey, we need it over here. Yeah. And it's kind of like a church maybe that sits on too much money. It's like you got all this money in the bank. What are you doing with it? If Jesus comes back tomorrow,
right?
What good is any of that?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So my church members like, please slow down, Pastor. You're spending it too much fast.
That's right.
But anyway,
all right. So I looked yesterday when I was preparing for this on the a state website that I found. At Lawrence County's unemployment rate's 4.6, under 5%. Comparable, we look pretty good in that. So talk to me about the growth, the jobs that are out there, what our workforce looks like for new companies coming in that needs employees, and for graduating kids out of high school that don't have plans to go to college or maybe to military service or whatever they may be. They want to get out of school and go to work, and they want to stay local.
Yeah.
So tell us about all that.
Well, when we were kids, you went to work at Murray.
Sure.
Or you went to work for a contractor that worked for Murray, like Evers or whoever. So Murray pretty much controlled the labor force. Here you had Modine, you had Dura, you had those plants as well, Hughes Parker, but a lot of those were interconnected with Murray. When Murray went out of business 2005, I guess it was their final, when the flag came down, if you will. All of a sudden, it kind of opened. We had graphics packaging too back then, but came in the 90s, I think. Graphics did, or late 80s, somewhere in there.
No, I think we had
Coors,
graphics then.
it's called Coors.
It was Coors.
Yeah.
And we also had, at the time, it was called XL, which is Dura now.
Yeah.
That was really going well.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Well, so how do you keep kids here? How do you create opportunities for kids? You have to have economic opportunity. You have to have good jobs. And, and that's a balance in our community. We're an agrarian community. We're a farming first community. We have been for a long, long time. And heck, I'm a first generation farmer myself. I'm trying my best. Got a little spot out in Piney and raising some cattle and sheep and some pigs.
I bought some of your bacon the other day.
Did you? How about
Piney Branch?
Good stuff.
Great.
All right, good deal. The sheep, on the other hand, are driving me and my neighbors crazy right now. So I guess there's a reason why the good Lord uses sheep as an example in the scripture a lot. But anyway,
that's a good point.
So I can ramble on. Let me get to the point. So what do? I want to preserve our farming culture and our way of life here, but I also want to give opportunities for our children to not have to move away from here to find gainful employment. And for a long time, Giles County's industrial park was way more robust than ours, And so one of the things we've been able to do is we've been able to fill up our current industrial park that we've had for the last 25 years since Steve Hill's administration. They bought land up there at Etheridge on the left past the graveyard there. And now that's completely full. Magna International came in. My first year in office, got a phone call from this company named Magna. Of course, the economic development team went to work on it, Ryan Egley and his guys and gals, and they got to work on it. It's you never know if you're going to land these companies. Like you do everything you can to get them. You might get them to the altar, preacher reference, and they may put the ring on the finger and all of that, but they might not kiss the bride and take her home. You know what I mean? So that happens a lot in this game. But man, we landed Magna International, which is huge for us. Craig Manufacturing came in a few years before I was in office, but now they've made a big expansion. Industry is growing around here, and that is really, really good. Like the average wage has increased considerably. Unemployment rate, that's arguable what you see online compared to what was really actualized here, but some of those numbers are delayed in reporting and things like that. But Magna's the largest, get this, so Magna's the largest industrial financial investment ever.
In Lawrence County?
Ever. Bigger than Murray's dollar number.
Can you share the number with us?
It was over 200, over $200 million. Yeah. And that number climbs every day. They're doing some changes right now that's going to add another, 50, 60, $80 million to what they're doing. And half of that building's not even built out. So once they finish it, the original number idea was, $500 million investment.
Wow.
So that's creeping up as time goes on. Hey, look, that's property tax dollars we receive. That keeps us from having to raise property taxes,
Correct.
Those kind of things. It's a small footprint in comparison to this entire county. I was looking at the number the other day. Less than 1/10% of our land is utilized for industry, but it generates, I can't remember, about a quarter, if not more, of our property tax revenue.
Yeah.
So that's, there's a balance again.
Right.
We don't want to become a Spring Hill with beautiful farmland smashed full of industry. I don't think we want that. I don't want
and
that.
beyond that, let's kind of hit on that a second. Listen, growth is a good thing, okay?
It's inevitable.
It's inevitable. But here's the thing. If we don't prepare properly with our infrastructure, and then we're so focused on growth, recruiting new businesses, and with new businesses comes new jobs, which comes more people, which comes needing more housing, more people on the road. If we don't plan for that, and I'll give you a perfect example. Murfreesboro.
Oh, yeah.
Murfreesboro is a disaster as far as infrastructure.
Oh, yeah. Getting around in Murfreesboro.
They had a great vision, in my opinion. They just didn't prepare well for it.
Yeah.
So, I get it from the perspective of, yes, we want growth, but we got to be smart about it at the same time.
Well, let me give you some assurance on some things. So one of the things that's made us like top of the list for economic development is we are ahead of the game with that stuff. So Lawrenceburg Utility Systems is ahead of the game with power, water, sewer, provision, gas, all of that. We have capacity, like to be able to bring industry in where some counties don't. You talked about workforce earlier as part of that question. When I came in, I realized we have 9,000 people a day in Lawrence County leaving Lawrence County to go work somewhere else.
Wow.
Because they make more money.
I didn't.
So,
I wouldn't have expected that number to be.
Yeah,
high.
so that number's going down with industrial development, and so we're repatriating those dollars. So they're eating lunch here in Lawrenceburg. They're eating, they're spending money here. So that's helping us. Workforce, it's one of the big deals that have been a deciding factor for some of these, and I'll give shout out to you guys with Lawrence County School System. Lawrence County provides more students to Tennessee Technology Center in Pulaski and Hohenwald than Pulaski or Hohenwald provide.
Right.
So Lawrence County kids are driving over there. We don't have brick and mortar TCAT in Lawrence County. So what did the school system do? Years ago, they started putting TCAT teachers in our schools. And so we're using our vocational space, Lawrence County High School, Loretta High School, Summertown vocational space, to teach our students and to get them certifications where when they graduate high school, they don't have to go to a 4-year college. If they want to weld, they got a certification that puts them to work at Craig Manufacturing making really good money.
That's right.
More than the living wage. So we're keeping our kids here. I've got 5 children. Last thing I want them to have to do is move away from Lawrence County because of economic opportunity.
Yeah.
Like I want them to be able to build their family here because I'm selfish. Like I want them around the kitchen table every Sunday afternoon.
Absolutely.
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 So anyway.
Again, my kids are grown and I have grandkids now, and but my youngest, 23, she got out of school, went to Lawrenceburg Technical, or went to the, it wasn't Lawrenceburg Technical College. No, actually it was. They had just purchased it. So she went through, she does hair, bought a house right around the corner from me. Yeah. And, you know, for a parent, that's as good. That's as good as you.
Is there anything better than that?
Yeah. No. So I agree. I think, to me, that's very important.
Yeah.
To have the opportunity. Now, if your kid's got some desires that takes them or forces them out of Lawrence County, fine. You want to chase their dreams. But if they can do what they want to do or love to do in Lawrence County,
fulfill their dream right here at home. Why not?
Absolutely.
Well, and a lot of people moving in here are not necessarily, with these job expansions, we're not looking like Magna, for instance, 200-something jobs, not 2,000 jobs.
Right.
Murray was 3,500 at one time. People came from Wayne County, Giles County, all over to work at Murray. Yeah. So it's not like it's bringing a ton of people in. What it is doing is our people that are leaving, these 9,000, can work here and make the same or comparable money. Or they can make $5 less an hour, but they're not having to travel for 2 hours a day, and spend all that other money. So they can make that decision.
That's right. Okay, along the same topic. A lot of new businesses going on, a lot of just new cool stuff. The square, I know that's city and county and whatnot, but there's just a lot of things happening going on. How do you balance? I know for the most part, industrial growth has gone this way, has gone toward the north. How do you balance the whole the county as a whole with, or is that something you think about strategically placing new industry, new businesses coming in? How do you manage that?
That's a constant conversation with the city of Lawrenceburg, with different utility districts as well, because they are on the outskirts of Lawrenceburg. So where does the growth go? Can they manage it? Do they have enough capacity? And then economic development with Egley and the chamber. That's all conversation. So, they've got a strategic plan in place as far as industrial growth. We just added 200 acres plus of new industrial park land. So when we were kids, you remember the Murray test bases up there. So we bought the one on the left. That's been our industrial park for 20-something years. Now we bought the one on the right. And so that is future H&R AgriPower's behind. Yeah,
behind that, the property
behind Janet Alexander's place and all that. And Greg and Becca Warner, former members of our church, have a farm adjacent to this. And so, all of that land is for future industrial expansion. So that's something we have on the table right now. And they get calls all the time about looking for this, looking for that. But we're at a very good place, and I want to give a lot of props to Ryan Egley and his team. We're at a great place because Lawrence County doesn't have to just give away the farm anymore. We can be very choosy on what kind of industry comes here through the incentive package we give them. If they want to just come in here and write a check for everything we expect, sometimes it's hard to slow some of that down.
Sure.
But there are ways that we have to be able to say we want to, we don't want something that's going to come in here and be environmentally hazardous. We don't want something that's going to come in here and be loud. We don't want something that's going to come in here and stink up the place, or mess up our water. Lawrence County, Tennessee has more water that generates in this county than any other county in the state. It's the reason why we have so many utility districts and all that. The headwaters of the Buffalo River and Shoal Creek start on us. Both are huge tributaries to Tennessee River. And we have more water than any place in the state. Yeah. And those are all cool stuff you learn when you get digging into government stuff. So we're ahead on all that. We're ready for that. How do we balance it? I think we can be a little bit more selective on what comes here from here on out. And I'm excited about that.
That's a good place to be in. It's a good spot.
Yeah, for sure. But we've been able to expand. Even Loretto has industrial park. We gave them some money last year to help expand some sewage stuff down there, so they can be more prepared. They've brought in new industry in the last few years in Loretto. Smaller companies, 50 jobs here, 70 jobs there. But man, that's perfect.
Absolutely,
right?
It is.
It's perfect with good wages.
Yep.
Loretto's beaming, and they're booming because that. Let's go back to population growth, something I meant to say earlier. It's inevitable that the population grows. Just look at the human population on the planet since we were kids to where it is now. There's 8 billion, and it was like 6 billion when we were young. So, so humanity is growing. So what do we do with growth? My dad always used to tell me this. He said, growth is change is inevitable, but progress is optional. It's all about how you navigate change, because change is coming.
Yeah.
But how do we navigate it and keep our community identity? And that's one of my joys, I think, to think about that in every decision we make. How do we keep who we are without, losing our soul, right?
I may be wrong. I know I'm biased in the statement when I say it, but I think we live in a great place. You said earlier, you talk about, traveling all over. And fortunately, I've been fortunate to be able to travel most of the United States, whether it be playing in golf tournaments or just whatever the case may be. But I truly believe we live in a great place.
Yeah, and we don't want everybody to find that out.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
I've been to 28 countries too, man, doing missionary work and various things. And almost every state in America I've been able to travel to over the years. Lived in 3 different states other than Tennessee for a while, and there's just no place like this. No place like this.
Not only do I think that we live in a great state, but just break it down, just literally down to our little small park right here in the middle of southern Middle Tennessee.
It's a special place
with our schools, sports, just our community as a whole. If there's a need, everybody is so willing to pitch in and help, and it's just, I love it. And I'll be honest with you, I can't imagine myself living anywhere else.
Yeah.
All right, changing gears. I got one simple question. Previous administration or administrations, and maybe it's not even on them, because I don't know when the talks begin to start. But the new college that was built out there, I know there was a big push to get it done, and then now is it complete? Is the deal where it's sold? Or is it still in the works?
No, it's still in the works. It's in the state's hands at this point to go ahead and approve the sale of the property.
Okay.
So we have no control. We can't fan the flame. We can't do anything right now. We're just hurry up and wait kind of deal.
Okay.
So all right. So the reason why initially Barry Doss was our state representative at the time, there was a study done to find education deserts in Tennessee.
Okay.
There was an education desert, and this is from the perspective of University of Tennessee and the state education board. Like secondary or post-secondary education, there was a desert here in Lawrence County, Middle Tennessee, southern Middle Tennessee. You had Martin Methodist College over there, and then you got UNA. So, Tennessee's competitive, right? They want to keep Tennesseans in Tennessee going to school in Tennessee. So part of the deal was a lot of our students go to University of North Alabama, go to University of Huntsville, UAB or whatever it is, Alabama Birmingham, various ones. So there was this bullseye put on this area. What do we do about it? So our community did something that's a one-off. Nobody's ever done it. Our community came together, city, county, said we're going to build this building, we'll buy this land, and we're going to move Columbia State there, and then we're going to partner with other 4-year universities so that kids can get a 4-year degree right here in Lawrence County. Unprecedented, nothing like this has ever been done before. But again, even when Columbia State originally came here, the building that you guys are in now at the school board, the administration center, that building was built by city, county, private donations, just like this one down here is built to get Columbia State to have a home. Columbia State typically owns their properties, right? But they are our tenant for free. Now they pay their utility costs.
Sure.
It's not free. I mean, if you go look at their books, it's not.
Right,
but we don't charge them a lease amount or whatever, so they get to use the facility. So what's happened is we started meeting the need. When Columbia State moved down there, Tennessee Tech, then UT Southern came in, Randy Boyd. Randy Boyd actually came and looked at this property and thought, maybe this could be an expansion of UT here. But then Martin Methodist came up for sale out of nowhere. And it's like, okay, we can start with a campus that's got everything we need and 700 and something students. And so they jumped on that opportunity. So they're partnering, though, with Columbia State at this building to provide classes for junior, senior level undergrad stuff. So that's expanding and growing. Columbia State wants to own this property. That's kind of what it's finally come down to, because they want to grow it and build it out. Yeah. And the fastest way to do that is to own it themselves, which is a state agency. If they want to get $50 million to build a new building or whatever, they can get that way easier if they own the property than if we own the property. we're kind of the middleman. We're kind of in the way on that.
Right.
And we're paying the maintenance costs. There's a lot of taxpayer dollars that's going into that. It's servicing a great need. C.C. Holt.
Absolutely.
They got 700-800 students. And people think they don't have any. Just drive by there on a Tuesday or Thursday, or during the day. And there's classes are remote, but they've got a classroom. So there's a lot more going on out there than most people realize. Mm-hmm. And the quickest way for us to get a brick and mortar, maybe TCAT expansions, because Columbia State is partnering with TCAT now and building buildings together, is to.
I think that's a great idea.
For us to get out of the way.
Yeah.
And actually, Corey, we're going to recoup our money. We're going to recoup our investment.
Yeah.
It's a win-win-win.
How big is that? How big is that property out there?
56 acres.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of room for expansion.
Oh my goodness! It'll be bigger than the chunk of land they have in Columbia.
Okay.
So yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Last topic. Now I'll let you get back to doing your real job.
I got you.
You've been a great friend to Lawrence County School System, and I can say that because I sit on the board. I know since you came into as county executive, you've been a very good asset to the Lawrence County School System. So we've seen a lot of growth, a lot of updating in the school system. Obviously, as people have moved in, our numbers have grown. Different parts of the county have grown more than other parts of the county, especially on the north end. A lot of money's got to go up there. I'm not going to ask you about, what are you going to do for the school system? But here's the question I am going to ask you. How important is it in your job overall to make sure that we have a thriving, successful school system in Lawrence County, to the growth of Lawrence County and to the county as a whole, for recruiting businesses and everything? So I want you to talk about the importance of the school system as it looks as a whole. Yeah.
So again, thank you for saying what you said. I'm a product of Lawrence County School System, Lawrence County High School.
Hey.
Mickey Dunn had to turn me in the right direction a few times with a paddle here and there. So did several other ones up there.
Hey, because it's funny, but in our time in the mid '90s, I'd always heard my dad say when they got paddlings, or they called it bustings back then, they had bent over and grabbed their ankles.
Sure did. Yeah.
Listen, we all love Mickey.
Oh yeah.
He got me one time as a senior. And he said, I'm going to go old school on this. You bend over and grab your ankles. And I bent over, and the top of toward my back was touching his desk.
Oh, man, so you didn't have nowhere to go there.
David, he hit me so hard, I moved his desk.
Well, I remember you back then. You deserved it.
I deserved everyone I got.
Me too.
Without a doubt.
I deserved everyone I got and everyone I didn't get that they didn't know about. But,
right.
So how important the overall scheme of things? Man, education's everything, I think, for children. I was preaching the other day talking about mathematics, and I don't particularly use algebra 1, 2, geometry, trig, calculus at this stage of my life. But what it teaches you is systematic learning and how to build today upon yesterday, and how it teaches you how to think systematically
and problem solving. And those things are key. It builds confidence in a student and all those kind of things. When industry's looking at us, or when when we're looking at the health, like a community health report, education is right there at the top every time. Like, what does it look like? Now, sometimes I go to Alabama and I get jealous of some of the facilities I see. We were playing TVBA basketball. Athens just got this Athenian-looking school, too. It looks like a Greek. It's phenomenal. Then you go down in the bottom, and they got this huge auxiliary gym.
Anyway, I'm jealous. But they also have a state income tax.
They do.
Okay, and if you look at that school's history, there was a huge benefactor.
I think
big country music star or somebody.
Who's from Athens?
Who's that?
Drew Brees.
Yeah, there's a lot of the private money went into that.
That's exactly right.
But anyway, whatever.
I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying there's connections.
Yeah. But so part of me looks at that and I think, man, be nice to have those facilities. And then I get to looking at education numbers overall. Tennessee's way ahead of Alabama, And I think, is it about buildings being brand new and looking perfect? And I'm not saying our facilities are bad at all. They're well kept, taken care of. And it's something I agree with TR on. My predecessor was, at the end of the day, a school building is concrete floors, block walls and metal roofs. If you tear one down, build another one, that's what you're going to build back.
That's right.
It just might be newer materials, whatever. But you're going to. So if you maintain things well, you don't have to rebuild things. And so our school system's done a great job, and county government's done a great job of that over the years. And so, but it's deeper than the buildings. And even though we love buildings and all that, new buildings, but like it's about the quality of education. It's about the quality of teacher retention. The culture in our community gets. People want to live here. Mm-hmm. Teachers can make a little bit more money in Alabama, but they'd rather live here. Mm-hmm. So what do you do? And we've been able to help remedy some of that with the teachers' wages increases and all that. We've been able to do that every single year since I've been in here to help you guys meet those goals.
Absolutely.
And exceed Governor Lee's goals, right?
And adding in 2026, or 2025 and now 2026, what has become important, necessary, new positions in the school system.
Oh yeah,
I had Michael in here a month ago, and we talked about some of the new things that we have added. 30 years ago when you and I were in high school, there was talking about a kid's mental health was a no.
No, we didn't even know what that was.
We didn't know what that meant.
What does that
mean?
Yeah,
right. So now we have had to add mental health positions and counselors and things like that, and we want.
Yeah, I think that was
to do that.
Yeah, one of the first requests Michael made because the Aware grant that was written years ago. I remember Steve Seaton was part of that deal, and April Abercrombie, and they wrote this grant and started some voluntary stuff like that. But what that did was get a sample built to see, there's a huge need for this, and it's effective if you got somebody that can drill down with a kid. Yeah. So one of the first requests he had made, an expansion request in staffing was that, and I thought, man, I'm all about that. That's like my recovery stuff we do. We're clinical and faith-based, but we have licensed professionals that work with these guys because, hey, what if we can catch it in high school? What if we could catch a major mental health struggle for them and help them, not just cope with that, but be able to overcome some of those challenges? Because a lot of those things are curable and overcomable. And even as a Christian, I really believe God can do miracles in that. But you gotta shine light on it.
You do.
Because kids walk around with all kind of inner pain and again, Corey, culture was different when we were kids. You go back to our parents' generation. Part of it is the breakdown of the family and all the things that we see happening. And I think it's great that we have these counselors in our schools that can take these children and help them. Because, man, their future is just going to be so much better if they can overcome some of those challenges. Yeah.
My belief is the greatest investment that we can make is into
this next generation.
The next generation.
Yeah, agreed, 100%.
And if we do our job investing in them, then when we move forward, we can trust that we've left it in good hands.
Yeah.
But if we don't, it can take. We're always, in my opinion, one generation away from it falling apart.
We are, and look, you can go around Tennessee, and we live in the largest county on the southern corridor. So between Memphis and Chattanooga, we're the largest county, other than those two, on the 64 corridor, largest city. But you can drive not far from here and drive through distressed counties that didn't plan ahead, that didn't prepare for growth, that maybe bucked some growth here and there, and they become economically depressed. When they become economically depressed, then the education suffers because the county government doesn't have the money to invest in education.
Yes.
Then the city and the county become socially distressed, in my opinion. Drugs become a major issue because depression, anxiety, all these things that come with low economic opportunity.
The snowball's
It
rolling down
is.
the hill.
And so we have to be proactive. And again, we're just stewards of what God has given us while we're here. Even this body. We're just stewarding this body. There's nothing we're going to be able to take with us outside of the difference we made while we're here.
Yeah.
So what we leave to our children is so vital for the future, and education is a huge part of that.
Yeah. So 2026 election year.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm already there.
Right. So running for re-election. So to end this, I'm just going to give you the moment to speak to the county, speak to our constituents, and just tell them what you're looking forward to in 2026.
All right. Well, thank you for the opportunity. Well, which camera am I looking at here? That one?
Either one.
Whoa. So, first of all, I want to say it has been a distinct joy and honor to serve in this role. I never, again, you knew me in high school, never imagined I'd be in this position. Never longed for it. Never sought it out. Really, it kind of came to me, and I say through providence, really, God opened some doors for me that I could have never opened for myself.
Right.
And the citizens trusted me, and I am forever grateful for that. Whether I get to serve another term or not, to be able to serve in this role is something that I'll always cherish and be thankful for. Now, I do want to do it again. And so, because I really love the opportunities that this position affords to help my fellow man and citizens and our future, our children, your children, my children, grandchildren. And that's something I'm waiting for as a grandkid level.
The greatest thing ever.
I want to get there like you guys.
It's the greatest thing ever.
But yeah.
Grandkids are so good.
That's what everybody says. My parents have 28, I think it is now.
Holy cow.
Grands and all that. But you know, us Morgans, how we are.
That's right.
But no, it's been a distinct joy, and I would love the opportunity to serve again. Again, there are other people that want the job. You know, I've got some fellow commissioners that are looking at it and want the job, and I don't blame them. You know, since I've been in there, I've done everything in my power to create a positive atmosphere, a can-do mentality, an empowerment mentality for all the other commissioners. I'm not trying to just run the county without their input. You know, you're just beating your head against the wall if you do that anyway.
Right. Yeah.
I've been very, very open to their input on issues and things like that. And of course, some may say, well, he wasn't on this one or that one, but hey, we're all going to have disagreement. But it's a team effort. I love leading a team. It kind of goes hand in hand with pastoring and being a father of 5 and having a big family, growing up in a big family. And you kind of learn how to work together to get things done. So I have 4 older brothers, you know.
I do know.
And then a little sister.
And then comes along Heather.
I was a baby for 2 years, had it made.
Listen, I love Heather. She's always cracked me up. But Saturday.
Oh, yeah. She was fired up. I was there for the second half, yeah.
So we had a lot of stuff going on here, and just out of necessity, I had to go call the game for us ex-sports over there Saturday. So I get there, and as soon as I walk in.
You didn't even know they were.
I didn't know that's who were playing.
Yeah.
So when I walk in and get ready, the first person I see is Cedric.
Yeah.
So I walk over, we're talking, hugging it out, and you know whatnot. I said, what are you doing here? He said,
Zamora.
Zamora plays.
Yeah.
I said, are you kidding me? So anyway.
She would be on Kaufman if Heather hadn't left.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So we're up top calling the game, and I'm down and watching, and during warm-ups, you know, and I'm watching. I'm thinking, hey, they got a good team. They're athletic, and you know, it's going to be a good game. And so, fortunately, Kaufman gets off to a good start. Pretty much stayed ahead the whole time, but there was a moment or two that they made a little run, and I'm sitting there calling the game, and out of the corner of my eye, I look, and something gets my attention, and it's Heather. And she's about 8 feet out on the court, you know, and she's doing
cheering.
her thing.
Yeah. She's something else.
She hasn't changed a bit.
She's ultimate competitor. So what's funny is that same corner. Okay, so when she was in 8th grade with Wendy, Wendy Scott, Hartsfield back then, Katie Busby, it's Katie Smith back then. They won the state championship, you know. And Heather was on that team, so they came out of that corner, and they had a banner to run through. Heather, I love you, but this is one of the funniest stories ever. It was a pep rally. After they'd won it at school, in front of the whole school. I wasn't there, unfortunately, but it was on Granny Network. Remember the Granny channel? So they had one of those big old banners you run through, cheerleaders out there and everybody. Yeah. So I say Peyton because Heather and my daughter Peyton, they're so much alike in so many ways. I mix them up. So she's elbowing with kind of Katie to see who's going to be at the front of this line to go through. And of course, Katie, you know, leading scorer, she deserved to be at front. Heather's like, you know, she's that low. She's the 4. She's the dirty ball, but she's getting all the rebounds and putting in 6 or 8 points a game. You know, so, but like, anyway, so they're jockeying for position, and they were it's what Heather's recollection is. And they run out, and Heather somehow got her feet tangled up. Oh, no. And dude, she starts falling, but doesn't, you know how some people fall like a long way?
A long ways.
So Heather's a little bit uncoordinated anyway. She starts falling, dude. She she face plants and eats it right out there in the middle of that floor for the whole school.
That's great.
We still give her a hard time. But yeah, passionate is an understatement with my sister. Super competitive. What do you expect? You got 5 older brothers, you know.
I mean,
Heather,
that's how she was raised.
I'm just, you know, when she met Sed, we grew up with Sed, playing ball with Sed, love Sed, great man. And he's been a blessing. Yeah.
Great guy.
Been a blessing to our family. You know, Cedric has finished, he got his teaching degree. And so he's actually working in a school up there, getting to coach and
phenomenal.
Pour into kids. Yeah, I'm so proud of him. Yeah.
Well, David, thank you for taking your time and coming by and talking with us and just kind of giving a state of the county for us. And we appreciate it very much.
Can I add one last thing?
Absolutely.
So the primary's coming up, and you asked me about the election. So that's May the 6th, all right? So last time in my primary in the month of May, only 2,900 people voted out of a county of 50,000 people roughly. Yeah. So it's very important that you just go vote in that primary. There's nothing else to vote for in that primary other than locals things. And so a lot of times people don't take the time to do that. There'll be 2 weeks before early voting. You can go to the election office, which is newly remodeled, way bigger. It's behind West Highland School there next to the budget office. You can go by there, early vote, get out to vote on election day for all of our sake, even my opponent's sake. Like,
that's right.
The greatest opportunity and privilege we have as American citizens is voting, I think. So get out and vote and let the Lord's will be done. That's the way I look at it.
That's right.
So
well said. Well
Appreciate
said, friend. I'm great to have you here.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Thank you. And next time, hopefully in the future, we'll have David back. And with more of our county officials are going to be coming in and talking about the state of the county and their area. So stay tuned and be on the lookout for future interviews.